Today we're going to take a look at one of the most underappreciated and least talked about subjects in respect to day trading, and that is trade journaling. Arguably, it's one of the most important things you can do, as keeping a trading journal is a way to get visibility on how you're performing on the markets, and it highlights what areas of your trading needs improvement. Now, success in trading really does demand a high level of planning, practice, and repetition, and most of you guys already know that the path to profitability is not an easy one. In order to gain consistency, one really needs to understand how they're progressing and track that progress. And that's where trade journaling comes in. Now, Someka Excel Solutions is a company that's focusing on developing spreadsheets, and they've managed to develop a very powerful trading journal. So they reached out to me in order to do an objective review of their platform, of their software. So that's what I'm going to do. And they were kind enough to give out a discount code, and you can see that if you like the program, if you like the software, check out in the comment section and the description below for the discount code for this software. So let's get right into it. This software is developed for ASX day traders, meaning the vast majority of you will be executing your trades through either Iris Trader or Iris Viewpoint, irrespective of who your broker is. If that's the case, you can just paste your data into the raw data spreadsheet here. You can set your commission, whether it's 5 basis points, 9 basis points, and it'll calculate it all for you. Otherwise, if you're using multiple brokers, you can simply set the account code, which is part of the copy paste of data. And through that account code, you can go to the settings and you can define what the commission is for each broker. And once we're done with this, we can head over to the trade log. Now, I personally didn't use this. However, you can define each setup that you've traded and talk about what the setup looked like, and what the catalyst was, if there was one, along with the daily chart, how it looked, the entry quality, and the exit quality as well. Now, this is predefined. You can change the data that's in here as well. I personally didn't use this, but I did end up going on the weekly tab, and I use this dashboard quite often. I consider this to be the most powerful aspect of Someka's trading journal. We can see based on the raw data that I put in, we've got a selection of the year 2021, along with weeks 14 to 19 selected. So based on this criteria and this time frame, we can see how many trades were taken on a Monday, what the total profit was for Monday between these weeks, the win rate, the P&L, the expectancy, commission, and turnover. And we can really see the difference between the days that was traded in April. We can see a lot less trades were taken on Friday, a lot lower win rate, but also a higher P&L ratio. Now, this might be a little bit skewed because we can see down here when we scroll down, we can see the net profit and loss per ticker. And I think this really highlights my style of trading, that I cut my losses whenever it gets too large. So the white reflects the losses, the green reflects the winners. And April really was a quiet month. But we can see that even on a quiet month, that there are opportunities out there, even if it is just once a week for a big hitter. And then we can scroll down and we can also get a visual representation of the performance during this time, which I think is super handy from a visual perspective. The next tab we're going to take a look at is the monthly analytics. Now you can see here the catalyst and the strategy sections take information from the trade log. So if you guys decide to fill this all out, every day after your trading session, then this will translate into the monthly analytics. You just got to hit the refresh tab and it'll add the information that you've added into your trade log. Now, I personally didn't end up using this. However, I did end up using the days of the week, looking at the performance as well as entry times. Now, this was a real eye-opener for me because I always knew lunch times, which is defined here between 11:30 and 2 o'clock. So you can go into the settings tab and define the intervals and the category. And I always suspected that my lunch times were not of good performance, but I was surprised to see how many trades I made in the lunchtime compared to the afternoon session. Because normally between 11:30 and 2 o'clock, the volatility is low, the liquidity is low, and obviously the match scalping happens in the morning session, and the afternoon really is about waiting for the lunchtime setup to be defined in order to take those afternoon setups based on, whether it's an ascending triangle setup or whether it's a pump consolidate pump setup. So I was actually quite surprised to see how many trades I've taken in April during the lunchtime session. So I actually adjusted my trading based on this information. So I did do journaling beforehand, but I never had this kind of analytics behind my journaling. My kind of journaling is taking a look at the trades for the day, what setups went correctly, what went wrong, but it never went into this kind of in-depth data, which I find super helpful and fascinating. So even after all these years of day trading, even though my style was very different when I first started, I was only making 1 to maybe 3 trades a day. And now that I've scaled up and only using just a few weeks of data plugged into the Someka trading journal, I can really find a gap in my trading. And that's clearly the lunchtime session. There's a huge gap there that needs to be improved. And now I can see that in visual form, in data form, in such a way that I can understand where the issue is with my day trading. And that's something I can improve on. There is no doubt that I'll be heavily focusing on the lunchtime session and minimizing trades between 11:30 and 2 p.m. So now the next tab we have is the monthly dashboard, which is really just a reflection of the weekly dashboard, but from a monthly perspective. So it has all the same sort of data here, same sort of charts. Then we have the all trades dashboard, which kind of speaks for itself. So we have pretty much the exact same thing again, but with a drawdown as well. And we can really see just the overall data for what's been plugged in terms of raw data. So we can see the total net profit for April, we can see the commissions, the gross profit and such, and as well as the win rate and the P&L ratio. And here we also have the weekly analytics, again, pulling data from the trade log if you so wish to fill out that data. I personally didn't use this tab as much as the monthly one, the monthly analytics. However, it is much of the same, but from a weekly view. Then we also have the broker call tracker section. Again, I didn't really use this information. You can plug in the ticker, say Afterpay. You can choose the broker, what the change was, upgrade, downgrade. And if that's up your alley, great, that's just extra data to use. I personally didn't use this aspect of Someka's trading journal, but it is here if it's something that's up your alley, and just showing you what the tabs are. Now there is one glaring criticism I have of this software, and that's in the raw data tab. When you copy and paste data from Iris Trader, it's not as simple as copy and then paste in this tab. You have to open up another spreadsheet, paste the data, delete the columns that don't exist in this tab, then copy it and paste it in here. I'm not sure why Someka decided to omit those extra columns. It could just make it a real easy copy paste. But aside from that, that really is the only criticism I have. The software functions perfectly fine. Haven't had a crash yet. The data all looks perfectly accurate, and I find it extremely helpful from a journaling perspective to have all that extra analytics and data to find where the holes in my trading are. So if you've thought about starting a trading journal, the question you should ask is whether you really have a good insight into where the areas of improvement lie in your trading game. And if not, can you afford to keep trading without a journal? For those of you who have any questions about the software, feel free to leave a comment down below, and I'll see you guys next time.